Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about a threat that is incredibly common, yet so many of us dangerously underestimate it. It's something that can hit any home, any business, really at any time.
So let me ask you a quick question. When you think about the biggest threats to your property, what's the first thing that pops into your head? Is it a fire? Maybe theft? Just take a second and think about that.
Well, it turns out the real, and maybe the most insidious threat, is often totally silent. It's invasive, and it's completely hidden from view. Yeah, we're talking about water damage.
And this goes so much deeper than just, a puddle on the floor. The real damage, the stuff that costs you, that happens long after you think you've mopped up the mess.
This number you're seeing, 24 to 48 hours, that is an absolutely critical window. Why? Because that's typically how long it takes for mold and nasty microbial growth to start taking hold after water gets in, especially if you live in a humid climate. That's how fast a simple little leak can spiral into a major health hazard.
And think about it like this. Water doesn't just stay put. It acts like a paper towel, right? It gets absorbed and it travels, wicking its way deep into your drywall, the insulation, your subfloors. This is what we in the biz call secondary damage, and it's where the real destruction happens, silently, right behind the scenes.
Okay, to really bring this home, let's look at a specific, real-world example. We're going to zoom in on Universal City, Texas. It's a place where the local conditions basically create a perfect storm for these kinds of water damage emergencies.
And here's the thing. This isn't some generic problem. In a place like Universal City, you have all these specific risks that just pile on top of each other. Sure, flash floods are a constant threat, but it's that expansive clay soil that's really fascinating. This stuff literally shrinks and swells with moisture, shifting a home's foundation and cracking the pipes that run right underneath it. Now you add in some aging infrastructure and that constant sticky high humidity, and you've got a recipe for disaster.
Let's dig a little deeper into that soil issue. This is what's known as a slab foundation pipe leak. Because that clay soil is moving the foundation around, it can just snap those copper water lines underneath. And the scary part is, these leaks can run for days, maybe even weeks, completely unnoticed. They're just silently saturating the ground beneath your house until one day you notice a weirdly warm spot on your tile floor, or you open your mail and get a shocking, sky-high water bill.
All right, so we've seen how complex and how sneaky this problem can be. So, what's the solution? Let's walk through the professional restoration process and see exactly how the experts tackle this head-on.
This quote really just nails it. This is not about grabbing a few fans and a shop vac from the garage. Proper drying is a science. It's called psychrometry, and it's a really calculated process of controlling the environment to literally force moisture out of building materials. Think of it like this. Warm, dry hair acts like a giant sponge. So by constantly bringing in that dry sponge and pumping out the now cool, wet air, technicians can literally pull the trapped moisture right out of your walls and floors. It's a really delicate balancing act. And that whole scientific process, it really breaks down into 3 clear phases. It all kicks off with that first urgent call and getting a crew out there fast. Then comes the main event, getting all the standing water out, followed by that calculated scientific structural drying. And finally, it all wraps up with verification, using meters and tools to prove the structure is actually completely dry.
Now here's something you probably didn't know. Not all water is created equal. Professionals classify it into 3 categories. You've got Category 1, that's clean water, say from a broken supply line. But then you have Category 3, or black water. This stuff is grossly contaminated. Think sewage or floodwater. And this classification is absolutely critical because it dictates the entire restoration plan, all the safety protocols. You just can't treat a sewage backup the same way you treat a broken pipe. It's a whole different ballgame.
Okay, so let's put ourselves in this situation. You're in the middle of a crisis. Water is everywhere. What should you expect? How do you even navigate that kind of chaos? Let's break down what a true professional partnership should look and feel like during such a crazy, stressful time.
First things first, let's set some realistic expectations. This is not an overnight fix. Now, every situation is different, of course, but a typical structural drying phase for a home usually takes about 3 to 5 days. It kicks off with extraction and setting up all the equipment on day 1. That's followed by several days of really careful monitoring and adjustments, and it only ends when the moisture meters give the final all clear that the job is truly done.
And during that whole time, the main goal is to reduce your stress. That means you should have one person to call. They should be helping with all that insurance paperwork. You should be getting daily updates so you're never left in the dark, and it also means making sure the technicians are IICRC-certified. That's the industry's governing body.
This complete documentation isn't just for your peace of mind, it's crucial evidence for your insurance claim, making sure you get fairly compensated. We've covered the threat, we've covered the science and the process, but I want to leave you with the single most important factor in any water damage situation. The one thing that matters more than anything else.
60. What do you think this number represents? It's not the cost, it's not the temperature, it's minutes. This is the industry standard response time for a top-tier emergency restoration crew to be on site after you make that call. 60 minutes or less.
And that number is so vital because with water damage, the clock is your biggest enemy. Think of it as the golden hour of restoration. Every single minute you wait inside that initial window, that water is wicking further, the damage is spreading, and the potential cost of the restoration is just climbing and climbing. In this world, speed is absolutely everything.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. When that pipe bursts or the ceiling starts dripping at 2 in the morning, do you know who you're going to call? Because being prepared with that one phone number is the single most powerful tool you have to protect your property.